Grand Rising, Elizabeth and Elizabeth Bros. So good to be here today. This is the day that God has made, and we get to choose to rejoice in it. So we shall. Um, I am one of your hosts, Queen Aduni, and my co-host is Lolly Mariah. And we are here to just enjoy the day and kind of guide you into what the rest of your day could be like. We are celebrating Father's Day month. Um, of course, we celebrate our brothers all year, all our lives. We can't do without them. We would not be without our brothers, right? So here we are. I just want to start off with, what I'm reading, and then Lolly will take over. This is from my Abundance book, The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And the declaration is that this day, June the 6th, 2025, I cease believing in invisible money as my supply and my support, and I view the world of effect as it truly is. It's simply an outpicturing of my former beliefs. I believed in the power of money, therefore, I surrendered my God given power and authority to an objectified belief. I believed in the possibility of lack, thus causing a separation in consciousness from the source of my supply. I believed in mortal man and carnal conditions, and through this faith gave man and conditions power over me. I believed in the mortal illusion created by the collective consciousness of error thoughts. And in doing so, I have limited the unlimited. But no more. This day, I renounce my so called humanhood and claim my divine inheritance as a being of God. This day, I acknowledge God and only God as my substance, my supply, and my support. And today's reading is um, when I am aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I am totally fulfilled. I am now aware of this truth. I have found the secret of life and I relax in the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creative energy, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I am now aware. I am now in the flow. I'm in the flow.
All right, that's dope. Stop it.
I'm in the flow. And I tell you, since I've been reading this, this is the second time because it's a 40-day. So I'm in my almost at the end of my second 40 days. And I really see and know and acknowledge and feel and that I don't think the way I used to. I don't have those feelings. And I mean, this thing is really getting inside it. When I think of every day when I do it, I say, wow, yesterday, no, I didn't operate from lack. I didn't do this, that, and stuff. So it's really getting deep down within. Hmm. And I wish the very same for every single one of you. We are not attached to that. We are abundant in all that we do. And the Spirit desires for us to walk like that so that work can be done, joy can be experienced, and your visions and dreams are important and can come true. Lolly, lolly, I love you, lolly, lolly.
Love it too.
You need the power?
Yes, that would be nice. I'm not sure if I need it, but I might. So yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Grand Rising, everyone. Thank you, Queen, for sharing that today. I am definitely flowing with the universe today. Um, so I'm excited because one, it is June. And June is a wonderful month because it's like the start of the summer for real.
Yep.
It's Father's Day is in there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's amazing. Juneteenth is in June. It's a lot of wonderful things happening in June, but big heavy on the Father's Day. So of course, I appreciate fathers. I appreciate all the men. I appreciate our black men. I very much so, even more so, probably like top of the list, appreciate black fathers because I think a lot of times they get a bad rep. I'm gonna be honest. And I also will say that there are some people who give it that reputation. But there are also quite a few who are doing the work of being a good black father, a present black father, and that is so important. And so as I was like kind of thinking about like, okay, what type of energy do I want in this space to be speaking for this month? And also like what type of person and what backgrounds, who do I want to bring? And I'm just thinking, I'm like trying to figure everything out, and I'm like, oh shoot, this week is happening fast. Don't know what to do. Um, and so I was like, you know what? I've been sharing this post about this fatherhood program. And I thought it was so cool. When I say like for months, like every time I see it, I'm trying to send it to somebody. And unfortunately, okay, baby girl, unfortunately, I don't think the people that I've sent it to have taken the opportunities, which sucks because I think it's so great when another father, black father, is like, "Hey, look, I've got these events. I want us to be encouraged. I want us to be empowered. I want us to do our best as black men." And and so I'm like, let me figure out how I can get the person putting these on to come on and share a little bit more about it and try my best, do my best to share it even more, even amongst the women that are here, because I know there's a lot of black men in our lives, who could probably, really use these resources or at least share about them. So I'm saying all that to say, I, thank you. Reached out to Antoine Crowder, also known as ADOT. And I was like, yo, I'm sorry if it's a little last minute, but like, I really would love for you to share about these programs. So, yes, baby girl, you're gonna help me read it? Okay, so I'm gonna read his bio and then introduce him on to speak a little bit. So we have okay, Antoine Crowder. He's an executive director, a mentor, and a restorative practitioner. Antoine Crowder is a mental health advocate for men and fathers. Using restorative methods to promote healing and growth, he serves as the executive director of Defined by Fatherhood and the We Greater Than Me movement. Initiatives focus on enhancing mental and physical well-being to empower men to be stronger contributors to their families and communities. With over 20 years of experience in youth and community development, Antoine began his journey with The Union, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering young people through holistic support. He has since become a sought after expert in restorative practices, working closely with schools, parents, and organizations to build healthier, more connected communities. Antoine has guided countless youth and families through transformative experiences, emphasizing trust, respect, and open communication. His parenting journey, deeply rooted in restorative principles, has helped foster stronger connections with his own children and inspired his broader mission. As the founder of Restorative Life Solutions LLC, Antoine delivers impactful workshops, trainings, and mentorship programs designed to introduce restorative frameworks into homes, schools, and workplaces. His goal is to create spaces where people can thrive through understanding, accountability, and healing, ultimately driving positive social change and community empowerment. Y'all, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Bring to the stage Attoine Crowder.
Yay! Listen, you made me sound so important. I appreciate that.
Listen, I read your bio. You said that to me.
Yeah, how everybody doing this morning? Great, great, great.
Great. Antoine, you had a guest yesterday come on. I don't know if he connected with you. He's a comedian.
Comedian, come on yesterday.
Um,
I don't remember.
if his name if he comes to my mind, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was I told him it was the wrong day. Right show,
Uh,
wrong day.
oh, wait a minute. Was it John? My guy John,
Uh,
Mr. Bell, comedian, dark skinned
yes,
guy.
yes, yes,
Bell, that's
yes,
my guy, man.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's my guy. That's my guy. He's a super dope comedian too. Well renowned, well known in the city, man. He's a super dope father as well.
Awesome.
Super dope father as well. Yep, yep, yep.
Awesome. Well, first of all, again, thank you for coming on here. It's amazing to have you on here. I just, so this is, of course, Passion and Purpose Fridays. And so, like I mentioned, we like to highlight those who are walking in purpose and really hear about how their passions play into that purpose. And so, with that being said, what was the catalyst for this movement, for the different organizations that you started, been a part of, direct? What was the catalyst for that?
So of course, on my little 38-year life journey, there's been a lot of things that's happening. But for a long story short, I lost my brother 3 years ago to suicide, and he was dealing with mental illness in a way where he was actually undiagnosed, right? And so after his passing, of course, I kind of went through my depression of like, what do I do? How do I um, honor his name? How can I help people? And so I would get people just kind of calling me out the blue. A lot of people that was like real close to me, and they was battling with some of the same, issues, like not want to be here anymore, not feeling important, not feeling like their life mattered or mean anything. And then, I'll battle with the same at some point. And so I'm like, yo, what could I do selfishly? And so I just created a group like, yo, we're just gonna meet. Let's just meet, right? Let's just meet, just kick it. Cause there's a lot of cats that's kind of going through and they just need somebody really just to hear them, right? I noticed that every time I was heard, I felt a little more energy, right? Not necessarily gave advice, not necessarily giving a scripture to read or anything like that. I just needed to be heard. And then I was like, yo, I felt like guilty for not providing my own brother that space in a way, right? And so I'm like, yo, we need a space. And so that's where this came about. And then from there, we was doing the work for like 2 years, selfishly, right? Because I'm there, the first person in there, because I got some things I want to talk about, being a father of five. And so, and being in this space as a man, as a black man that I've never really seen, in my community, black men really be at, right? And so it became selfishly, and then we got some eyes on us through Defined by Fatherhood, and then Hope Village said, "Hey, y'all doing some work. Let's put some money in y'all pocket, and then let's add some physical stuff there. Let's do some cardiovascular stuff." I said, "That's easy. Say less." All right. With the matching of mental and physical health makes sense, right? You feel good, you do better. In the words of Dion, when I feel good, I look good, I perform good, right?
Yeah.
And so that came, and we was able to get some money to be able to pay people to get thousands of dollars of advice and information that you had to pay $400 or $500 an hour to get. And $200-300 an hour a get. And so we provide a workshop where you get some mental and some physical, um, understanding what your blood levels is, your sugars is, right? Going through that level, and then you get some mental advice. And we do that 3 hours. We've been doing that once a month since I want to say March, or yeah, maybe March, maybe. I think we're on our fourth session now. They gave us a sixth session, so in July we'll be doing a bike ride as well, and we'll have the health truck come out, and we'll be feeding our fathers, just celebrating our men and our fathers, right? But doing some cardiovascular, getting active, and talking about how to socially, emotional regulate ourselves, and build a network in a safe space where you able to be vulnerable and still be great at the same time. Right? Because we Superman, but sometimes we Clark Kent as well. So
Mm.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Clearly, it's needed, and I'm glad that some people are able to take a part in that, and I hope that you're able to expand even more in that effort. So, something that I think we kind of miss when we're talking about nonprofits and putting things together is that collaboration. And so, like, I know you mentioned a few different organizations. You said Hope Village and a few different organizations that kind of helps propel you forward with these projects. So, what did collaboration look like for you in this space? Was that difficult for you, or was it just like it just seamlessly worked together, everything fell in line?
well, and for the most part it did, right? I think the thing that, or the issue that most nonprofits or most people are having is men just coming out, right, and finding ways to put themselves in the front. And as we do more studies, and as we do more research, and as we do more conversation, we've learned that it's almost conditioned that men don't put themselves first, right? We're conditioned to put everything else first, and we're the last thing. And so, hence the reason why we the last people that go to the doctor, hence why we don't want to know. And then there's another psychological thing where we don't want to know that we broke, because we get the praise for being Superman. Don't nobody praise Clark Kent, right? Like, who walks down the street and be like, yo, that's Clark Kent, he's sweet, what up, right? And so you get the recognition when you have on the suit. And so what happens is we wear the suit so much, where we kind of just wear ourselves down, right, until we can't be here anymore. And so that's been the conversations with multiple people in multiple places that I've been around. And I'm just like, yo, I don't want to wear the suit no more all the time, right? And so, and I understand who I am in the suit, but I'm more than just the suit. And so and as I've been having that conversation in different spaces, you hear other guys kind of agreeing with that, right? Like, yeah, you're right, bro. Because man, when I'm this and I'm that, man, I'm this, but when let me not do this, then I ain't getting no love, right? And so you start hearing these type of different conversations about um more about how important the suit is than a person, and right. And so when we have in this space and being able to collaborate, we was finding that a lot of organizations is trying to get the men to come out because there's money for the men initiative. It's hard for guys to come out because we're not conditioned to put ourselves first in this matter. And so it's been a struggle even with us, like just trying to get people. I know people, like people call me all the time. I'm like, bro, why you ain't at the meeting, dog? How you want my help, but you ain't taking advantage of the real help? You know what I'm saying? Again, because we're not programmed to put ourselves first. Oh, I had to do this, or something else came in the way, or this, but you knew this, you know about this for a whole month, bro. You supposed to, no, no. But again, so it's just like being able to condition ourselves and recondition ourselves that we are important, and being able to look in the mirror and say, bro, you are important. And without your health and your mental health being in the proper state, you cannot continue to run this race at the rate that you've been running it. So, yeah.
We have a question or comment from Evelyn.
Yes.
Hey, Antoine, welcome. I have a soon to be next Thursday, soon to be 14-year-old grandson. And he has a not a good relationship with his dad. He's been spending summers with his father and I just wanted to know, how young do you do you take young men like 14?
So we have different spaces for the 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Our main focus has been with the younger generation of men from like 18 to like 25. But
Mm-hmm.
we allow everybody to come in though, right? My son comes. We have a lot of men who have teenage boys that attend. Sometimes the conversations can get a little bit heavy because they're not going through all the things that we're going through, right? But one of the things that I pride myself on the space is that if I was able to hear these conversations, even though I wasn't ready for them, then I know they exist, right? And a lot of times, even our young men don't see us being vulnerable because we don't know how to be vulnerable even to them, right? And so yes, we allow the young men to come. Definitely, we allow the young men to come. Again, like I said, the conversation sometimes can go over their head, and they can get a little bored. Like my son, sometimes he'll dip. He'll be like, when y'all got the food popping, right? Because it's like this stuff y'all talk about stuff that don't really matter to me, and I don't really care, right? But we are building more with the younger men. We work closely with the union, the Cave. Jason, shout out to Jason Wilson with the Cave. And then also I'm a career manager at the union, and we do workforce development. So we do a lot of mentoring through that as well. So if he needs a space where there's a lot of men that he can touch and base, and just get some chaperoning and some mentoring from workforce development will probably be the best place for him.
What was that? The
Workforce development. So that's at the
work,
union. Yep. Workforce development.
workforce development?
Yep. At the Y union. All right. I always have to say the Y union because most time when you say you work for the union, people think UAW. So it's the Y union.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he has a job this summer. He's an artist, and so he has a job this summer. So I definitely want to get him around other positive men because like I said, his relationship with his dad is very he expresses he has anger issues when it comes to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just when it comes to some stuff in general me being his grandmother, I don't think you should be upset about. You don't, you shouldn't be upset about, you know, something not fitting in your bag, right? Or and it's just the anger toward, um, just his father, like talking to him about his personal relationships and stuff like that, and the way that my grandson sees his dad treating his significant other, and he has a baby brother that he wants to be around, and his dad's significant other and her two older children have been there. She's a bonus mom, and he has a bonus sister and brother, which we really appreciate, but he just doesn't want to be around his father right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that perspective is real fragile, especially for a 14-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Perspective is um what we think and what we know. And he's going through puberty. Puberty is probably one of the most devastating things that humans have to go through, especially when we forget that we have to go through it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a 14-year-old son. I have a 12-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old daughter that's coming through the puberty stage. I also have
Okay.
a 17-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old daughter that's kind of leaving it. And it's been a journey, right? And everybody kind of their journey is their own, however it works. But thank God that I had a couple tools to be able to recognize like, yo, this is just a transition in time to where I can give them space and grace to have those conversations, and I can have those conversations to help guide. But I can just imagine, I mean, my mom and my dad, right? I ain't had no conversations about puberty when I was growing up and what I was supposed to be doing and what it's supposed to look like. I mean, I didn't have those conversations, right? And so I definitely, my heart goes out to parents that's going through that time without tools, right? Because we need the tools to be able to do the work. Without the tools, it's hard to do the work, right? And we humans too, right? And so I'm
Yeah.
tired of you lying. I'm tired of you expressing yourself this way. I'm tired of you not talking when I'm trying to but it's just puberty, right? It's a stage where that's
Yeah.
very sensitive in our lives. And it kind of shapes our mentality going forward. And so if we don't have the proper spaces to be able to share and have those conversations, space and grace, it can be a difficult time. And for most of us, it is a difficult time when our parents don't have the tools to be able to support us through that time.
Well, I think his mother and I have some tools. We need more male positivity. He has a good relationship with his grandfather, but his grandfather he lives in Georgia.
Wow.
He has
Yeah.
a good relationship with, my daughter's younger brothers, but they live in Georgia.
Mhm.
And so just because he does have, has dealt with suicidal thoughts, was cutting himself last year, and we have had him in therapy. But sometimes, like when he really melted down the other day, and I got in his face and I said, "Why do you give your father so much power over your emotions?
Mm.
Why are you giving him that power? You're giving it to him." And he like calmed down a little bit. But his mother was attempting to have, just for him to have his father in his life, but
Yeah.
she finally realized that no, we can't make him go over there. He don't want to go over there. He cannot go over there.
Yeah.
To honor his feelings. He doesn't want to be around him. That's it. And his father has said some things to him that you can't take back.
Yeah. You don't say to kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't say that.
again, we can definitely. Are you guys in Detroit?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely just get you my information. We'll be able to get the information. Matter of fact, while we're talking, I'll put it in the chat, my information on how to get in touch with me through email, and we can get him set up because we're actually starting a new cohort. We just graduated like 30 kids from the program that's going to be graduating and moving into some internships to some tech programs, Apple, Code 313, college, right? And so, and it's a journey. You know what I'm saying? It's a journey, and so we deal with like 125 kids yearly, and it sounds like you can definitely benefit from what we do here outside of the workforce too. So I'm putting my email there. Please reach out to me, and then I can get you some information, and we can get him signed up ASAP. Right?
What are the ages, Antoine?
So we work with high school students. So from 14 to 18 is the students that we work from. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Right now he goes to the art academy in the woods.
Okay.
And he spent 8 years at Waldorf, which I think was a good thing, because he does right now he spends a lot of time on his tablet and playing games, but he does have that outdoor experience of loving the outdoors and being outdoors. So
that's awesome.
I'll definitely, Antoine, if you want to pass the information along to me too, I can make sure that it's in our group chats and everything as well. I do want to keep the conversation flowing and moving. So
keep going, Lolly. I can wait.
Okay, no, it's okay. We have one more question. And then we'll get into we'll just continue the conversation. This is a wonderful conversation, and I'm glad that we are connecting each other with the resources that we need for our loved ones. So that is actually very beautiful. I know a few things that were mentioned, just that I think may come up probably in your workshops at some point, though, is that that father-son relationship and how huge that is. And even father-daughter relationships is so easy for us to, be like, don't let it bother you. And I get it. But then also for a young child, it's like, but that's still my dad. Like,
yeah.
Right.
and it's so much to navigate as a young person. It's that prefrontal cortex isn't developed yet for us to, I understand that this is what's going on. I can separate myself from that. It's not my fault. It's not all of these things. We can't, as a young person, it is very hard to have that emotional maturity to be able to continue and push forward and be the stronger person. And that's also why it's so important that we uplift the fathers and continue to encourage them to do the work and to do the work within themselves and most importantly as well.
Yep.
But let's go on to the next question. Danielle, I'm gonna add your pin, and then you can go ahead and ask the question.
Well, I just wanted to find out, Antoine, I'm glad that, the spaces is out there for men. Because the space is for women, for us to gather and deal with ourselves, with each other, with the wisdom and it's always been there. I mean, look at the Elizabeths, it's there. But then when it comes to the men, when something tragic happens, you know, I use my example. When I had my miscarriage and posted it on Facebook, there was floods of people. But then my partner at the time, had to deal with, there was not a space for him to deal with that traumatic loss on a mental, like I would say, mental, spiritual level. And it's like, wow, that to me was shocking to me that there was no outlet. Here I have the women close to me, and even if we weren't close, virtually close, it was so many, it was well over 200. I remember that post because it was so many people, that women that shared their story. It was like, I got you, da da da. And then here's my partner over here dealing with the whole situation all by himself. So my question is, you know, it's good to know that there now is something out there for men because yeah, we can't handle you guys can't handle everything. The society has this expectation that you're supposed to handle everything and just handle it under the guise of, you're this big, strong, masculine man. But in reality, it's like even men get to their breaking point. Even men need their support. They need someone, my dog, I got you, or I've been through this, or this how you handle that. So I'm just glad that I now have a space to share with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because they always got the women and the children, but it's like it seems like the men is always falling on the back burner. That's all I
Yep.
wanted to say.
Nah, and I agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons why I do it, right? Because me being a father of five and seeing, how I got to navigate through this world, it's a back burner thing. But one of the things I had to realize was there was some self work I had to do as well, right? And that's what we promoting, the self work, right? Like, yeah, there is a lot of strikes against us. Yeah, those stereotypes exist, but a lot of it can be rebutted with self work, right? And once I believe in myself and once I get myself in a space where I can truly operate and tap into who I really am through Yah, then I got the strength. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? And so now I can believe and I can do, right? But we live in a space where black men is shamed for not being able to show up. We shame because we can't provide. We shame what we can't fix. We shame what we can't be. And a lot of times we be asking kids to do this, right? I became a father when I was 20. I'm still a kid. You know what I mean? And so now I automatically have the responsibility and the not just the responsibility, but also the criticism of somebody who's been living on this earth for 40 years. I've only been here 20, right? And so there's always some disadvantages, but in those disadvantages, there's refuge, and that's why we building a network of men in fatherhood to be able to have those conversations, and you get to hear it from men who've fallen and been in the same situation, who couldn't pick up the weight at one point, right? And letting them know like, yo, it's okay that you can't pick up this weight. Let's pick up this one, and we're gonna build to get there. And so, yeah, I definitely agree with Ms. Danielle that this space is definitely needed. It is transformed my perspective and also gave me a new initiative to be able to look forward to doing something on a daily basis.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know I keep saying this, but thank you for doing the work. Um, so let's get into a little bit more about you. So I mentioned your other alias, A Dot. And so, yeah, this man, I think the first like full on encounter I had with you was when you had that backyard, um, what is it, that backyard event?
Acoustic show, yeah, the acoustic
Yeah.
jam session.
Yeah, that was lit. And I was like, I was asleep because I didn't know that you like made music for real. I don't know. I don't know all the connections. I'd be in my own little world and then I just come across something on happenstance, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, if you don't mind, I know we're talking about fatherhood and your work and everything, but this is also a part of you. So, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your artistry too.
Yeah, for sure. I don't. It's crazy because I don't really let people know about my artistry like that. It's a selfish thing. Again, I began doing music. I come from a background of music, so my mom, my grandmother, they were a quartet group back in the city called the Scott Singers. And if you know about quartet groups was like the rebel of at the time of what gospel should sound like at the time. And so they was kind of like when hip hop came on the scene, right? It was like, what is this devilish music? And so my grandmother, her brothers and sisters, they had a band, and I grew up watching them, listening to them. That's all we did really was, and then my mom wanted to join, so then we had a family choir, and so music is just a part of me, right? It's been a part of my household, it's been a part of my family. People be playing cards, drinking gin, smoking their cigarettes, the songs break out, right? It's always some music of all. And so when I started doing the music, it was therapeutic for the most part. It was like, yo, I'm trying to get my voice, I'm trying to be heard, and I don't know what I supposed to say and how I supposed to say it. And so hip hop found me, right? And I was able to express myself through hip hop. And then I met people like Lottie and Ben Jones, and then I learned how to do poetry, which enhanced the lyrical ability of being able to express myself, right? It gave me these vocabulary, these words, which I call as tools and bricks to be able to keep building this house and paint these pictures that I need people to hear from me. And so that was my journey for a long time, right? And then being able to use that to minister or serve other people and let other people let other people know, look, it's you're not the only person that's maybe going through this situation, or you might not the only person that may need music for this reason, right? I never used it or seen it as glory of dollar. It was literally a liberation of freedom of speech and being able to express what's going on. And then that just kind of elevated and then put me in spaces like this, right? And so when I'm continuing to learn about our heritage, about the Black man heritage, and just continue to get more information about the community, which continue to light the light bug up, right? And being able to provide platforms for artists such as myself or that align with that type of work or music, where I hear the message and like, yo, this is somebody that's trying to speak. They need to be heard. And so that's how the acoustic show came about, live music. That's why it was all live music, because I come from a church background. Everybody played music. I can shower, sing. I got a couple albums on, on the back burner in the Shower Chronicles. I call them the Shower Chronicles, right? I'm probably at like volume 25 right now. You know what I mean? But I also understand that music is a energy, right? It's a voice. And before words, before liberal words, before the symbols of words, it was tone, and right. And so that's why we connect so well with tone. And so I thank God for music because it's brought a lot of us together and we're able to heal and be able to be heard through those tones and those vibrations of tone. So I appreciate that. And thank you
Oh,
for allowing me to express that, Lolly. I appreciate that.
that's so funny you talking about the bathroom because my grandson, that is shower and the throne.
Yep.
You
That's it.
know he's in
That's
either
our place of
one
peace.
because
That's our place of peace. The shower, look, my son, I didn't listen. My kids sing and rap. My son, he done freestyle so many records, and I'll be like, I done got him recorded a few times. I'll be like, bro, you be in there rapping. And that's his space, right? That's his space. The showers, that's the time when you are the most vulnerable. You naked. This is your time, right? You are the most vulnerable. And some of the best things come from there. I do a lot of my prayer and meditation in the shower. This is my most vulnerable time of being, that state of being as a human being is when I'm on the shower. And then, of course, the throne, because now I'm detoxing. And this is another time where I can meditate and connect with myself during this detox. So you get to think about all the things that you'd put in you, right? Like, damn, why I do that? Right. So you having these moments by yourself where when you at your most vulnerable moment, most connective time. And a lot of things come from there. Right. I done came up with a lot of ideas sitting on that throne. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the throne and the shower for sure.
Because I very often sneak and I take my recorder. So, because he won't sing full out if he knows being recorded, but I will sneak and record him. I will,
Oh,
because
that's
he
dope.
has
Yeah,
a beautiful
yeah, do
voice.
that, do that.
So,
He ain't gonna like you for it, but he gonna appreciate it later on. It's gonna get
yes,
and have
yes,
an understanding like, oh, this is who I really am, and
yeah,
it's okay to be him. So I
yeah.
appreciate you for that.
That's adorable. Um, yes, that's beautiful. So that brings me to another question. Have you incorporated music into your fatherhood workshops? And if not, would you be open to that?
I haven't yet, right? I'm still trying to figure out if that's what I'm supposed to do, right? It kind of feel corny sometimes, but when you listen to my music, it's who I am at the core. So I haven't like I'm not standing up rapping in front of people, all right? But I know that God is going to open up a door where it makes sense, um, and how it's supposed to make sense. I'm sure it will make sense eventually. I just don't know exactly how to do it yet, or I don't have the strategy to put it together right now. Right now, I'm kind of like just living in a space of getting to know, the men that's out here and the organizations and the people that's kind of broken, and what I can do in that space now that I'm able to communicate and know how to clarify my feelings and being able to social emotional regulate what I'm doing. I'm so excited about spreading that, and I ain't even really been tripping on the music part for real. But we got some stuff. I've been getting a lot of people hitting me up like, "Yo, Twine, what's up, man? We gonna drop dot when you dropping?" And I got a lot of music. I'm always recording for myself, so I'm in the studio all the time writing and putting some stuff down. I just don't know how it makes sense yet in the earthly realm right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No pressure. I just, so something I did a couple years back, and I want to continue it again when I have the resources and the time. I didn't do it last year because I was with child and figuring my life out. Um, but something I did in the past for girls was it was called Charms and Jingles. It was like a charm school, charm camp,
Mm,
but it was music based. And
that's
so
dope.
basically they learned something. There was like 5 sessions. They learned something each session, and then they took what they learned and put it into a song and recorded it in the studio.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
So I said that to say, back to focusing on you, is that I think there may be some ways, if you're ever interested and you feel it, it's your thing, right? It's your relationship with your music and with your work. But I think may be some ways where you can incorporate that into your work, and there may be an audience for that. Especially like you were speaking on how hip hop found you and the words are tools and all of those things. And I think that there's a lot of these Detroit rappers are so witty and
Yeah.
intelligent,
Yeah.
and what they're
Yeah.
saying sometimes is crazy.
Yeah.
But but that same wit, that same intelligence, that same ability to express themselves can be used towards something healing and something that can help them and their peers navigate their lives. And so I'm just encouraging you to think about maybe what that looks like. I don't even know if it's a cipher in a workshop or whatever, but like I think that there is some connections there that can happen mentally, and I'm talking about mental connections that
Yeah.
sometimes that music will be that thing that breaks that barrier to understanding, like, okay, this is what I need to do, this is how I'm feeling, and it's okay, this is how I can express myself, et cetera, et cetera. So throwing that out there. We also have another musician and my co-host who was about to say something, so let me add her pin so she can speak too.
Okay. Cool.
No, I was
And let's
just
let's
saying,
build on that too, Lolly. I want to build on that for sure.
yeah, you said it. You said it all, Lolly. That's exactly what I was going to say because with my son, when he went after he graduated and he went into the Air Force and he came back, when he came back home, he was rapping. And I didn't even know, Philip, nor I, nor his dad, we didn't even know that he wrote, you
Mm,
know. And when we heard what he was saying and stuff, um, that expression is like, whoa, whoa, and sometimes when people are real quiet and they're within, they just keep everything within, having that opportunity in a group setting like that, what Lolly was saying, gives them the opportunity and the space to write, and then knowing that they get to share that, um, whether it's with music or without music. When it's time to say okay, and then they get up there. I know you've seen movies where the person wouldn't say anything, and then when it was their time, okay, Sean, it's your turn, and they come up and blow your mind because they're so quiet and you didn't even know all this was going on in their life. But because it's an assignment, like Lolly said, this week we're going to do this, and moving up to that, then they really get to express themselves. Didn't even know that, even though my house is music, my husband is full-time music,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
and then when Fame came out and was writing all of that, he wrote each of us for Christmas. He wrote each of us something personal about us, a poem. Like, whoa, where did this come from? And here he is, 19, 20 years old. And then we get to then see that part of
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what I was going to share, Lolly, that opportunity. For them to express themselves in some way. And then some of them, the writing might not be that hot, but they know how to make beats and they know how to do that where they're supporting one another. And that development is just, it could be so surprising and open up a lot of doors that you hadn't even thought about. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I just wanted to share that in cahoots with what Lolly was sharing, that opportunity to express themselves, especially for those who don't express themselves. If they can write it and then just share it, yeah, that's all.
I appreciate it. And I mean, I've had, I've had experience with, like I said, working with the union. We have a Keys to Life camp, so I have experience with teaching like music workshops. I
Yeah.
just didn't know. I still don't know how my story, connects. But I'm always open to build, right, these conversations. That's why we got to come together, right? Because it's there, but we need to help bring it out. So I'm here to have those conversations and build, and I'm here to see what that looks like, right? Because I think it should be, right. Like, why do I got that tool and not using it for this space, right? And so I want to be able to I want to bring it down like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
just I'm definitely open to what that could look like and what's the possibility of it. And so please, 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 let's build.
I have a question. Uh, just what does fatherhood mean to you? Once you became a dad, how did your life change?
Uh Man, fatherhood is really, I feel like, why I'm living. It was my second purpose. When I became a father, I was mad at God. I was mad at the world because I was on a different projective, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, how you let this happen to me, yo? You know what I'm saying? Like how you let this happen to me, dog? I was supposed to be doing da 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 da. You told me I was gonna be da 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 da, and and I gotta stop and be a daddy. Like, you tripping, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, it wasn't an exciting thing, right? I was
Mhm.
not excited. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how all this stuff is happening. My daughter is having my oldest daughter, she has a closeout project, and her closeout project is asking me about fatherhood. And this was the first time I had to tell her, like, yo, I was scared. I didn't know being a daddy, heck no. You know what I'm saying? I was fried at the when I had to go to the to the hospital. I showed up through. And thank God that she didn't have a baby under that circumstances, right? Because that wasn't the way I wanted my daughter to be brought into the world. But I was just so scared.
Yeah.
I didn't have a real connection with my father, and so now you putting me in a position or I'm in a position, at least I felt like God was putting me in this position. Once, you got to take some accountability. So as you get older, you start taking accountability. Like, no, bro, you was spanked. You should have, been wearing protection, or you shouldn't even been having sex in the first place, right? But that was come after you learn and you build. Um, but yeah, man, I was devastated. But I also knew that this was something that I didn't want to fail at.
Mhm.
Right. I'm like, I'm not gonna fail at this because I knew what it felt like to be disappointed as a kid
Mhm.
from my dad and from my parents. And I love my dad and I love my mom, right? But I understand what that disappointment felt like. And not having the proper support and not being intentionally seen, not being intentionally heard. And I knew I wasn't going to fail. Right. And so I said, well, this is it. All my other dreams about being a rap star and being a whatever, it's out the door. This is it. This is going to be the life that I live. And so I've been on that journey for 17 years. I tell my daughter, like, yo, I've been a father as long as I've been an adult, a legal adult, right?
Yeah.
I turned 21 as a daddy. And so, and I've been fathering since. And so, I've been growing as a person, been growing as a man, and of course, growing as a father. And I appreciate everything that it came with because I don't even know what type of person I'd be if it wasn't for me becoming a dad. All right. So it's literally my pride, my everything. It's everything that I live for. I get up every day to be a dad for sure.
What are some of the topics that you all, I know we're at the end, that when the brothers come together, what are some general topics or unusual topics that you all talk about?
It ranges, right? So shout out to my brother Errol. Shout out to my brother George. George is a therapist, and so he brings a lot of mental health regulation stuff. I'm a restorative practitioner, so
Mhm.
I come from the mental health space, but I also come from a space of communication, how to properly communicate and be heard. My brother Errol is a physician, but he's also a communicator as well. So he comes from like these standards of what our life should look like and how do we meet those standards. But yeah, man, we have people in there that's married going through divorce. We have people in there that haven't seen their kids that's going through child custody battles. We having people in there that's just dealing with they made so many mistakes that they don't even know if they can make the right one anymore. We have people coming there dealing with child loss, grief, and a lot of the crazy. The space has been um, taken up or occupied by a lot of older gentlemen, older than me, right? And so it's like, wow, I didn't even know that they needed it too, right? And so we got a lot of granddaddies in there, a lot of grandpapas in there, OGs that's taking up the space and being able to share, which I love because I get to see, the battle that we got to continue to fight as men. But it also give them a space to be able to rejuvenate, right, and get some good stuff from. So, yeah, the topics range. It's really an open space conversation. Sometimes Errol will come in with whatever the spirit leads him with to kind of guide the conversation or to help give tools. Because the thing that we don't want it to be is just a dumping ground, right? We don't want to just dump a lot of trash. We also want to be able to pick up some tools and feel empowered to be able to continue to live because we're not here to die, we're here to live. And so, yeah, but yeah, man, it's been a lot of it's been a lot of crazy stories. We be in there crying almost every time. Somebody in there tearing up, and just the release of being able to first off release that what they're dealing with and being heard and being able to and be loved on afterwards and be strengthened afterwards. Like, yo, you got this. If you need any other extra support, we here. And people then connected and built real friendships
Yeah.
inside this space. So I'm excited for that more than anything. That people are getting the support that they need when they in this space. But yeah, the topics can I mean, you couldn't even imagine some of the things that come out and some of the things that men really deal with, older men, younger men, things that be on our heart, the things that you think people got together that they don't, right? A lot of freestyling, a lot of, just things that's mixed with our egos, things that's broken through our egos. Man, it's just be a lot of great, great conversations. And you just hear a lot of boys. You just hear a lot of 7, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old boys
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
figure it out. Even though we 50, 60, 38, 25, you just hearing a lot of young boys that's been broken and hurt for a long time trying to
Mhm.
figure this out. And I'm grateful for that space that the inner child can be healed so we can be able to still show up and put our cape on.
Ashe, Ashe. Lolly, thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming. Yeah, thank you for coming. And you can come anytime.
God, listen, I'm here whenever you guys need me to come on and kick it. I love this type of platform. I love this conversation. And as long as I'm available, I'm on here. So whenever
Ashe.
you need me to come, I'm here. And I will continue to promote the space because this is a wonderful space. I love the of space where people can get flowers, right? Because a lot of times we just be doing stuff. And a lot of times we don't see ourselves like people see us. I've been learning that too, right? I run into people that be giving me like, oh my God, bro, you doing that? I'll be like, what? Like, I didn't even know you was watching. I didn't know you was paying attention. I don't even do it for that, but
Mhm.
it still be cool to hear, that your works is not in vain. And that, that your living is not in vain. And so I'm excited and I'm thankful for spaces like this where people can get flowers and being heard and get more in depth and get more clarity of what's actually going on other than a flyer on Facebook or a flyer on Instagram or a 10-second video, right? Just being able to get into the minds and the psyche of what's going on. So I think this is super, super dope. And I'm super honored to be in this space. Thank you.
No
All right.
problem. Thank you. Amazing. I'm
Yes.
happy. And I'm like, I'm gonna work. I have to, I just finished editing the other video from one of the other weeks. I gotta upload a few, so I'm gonna upload this one and I'll send you the link when it's uploaded so
Okay.
that you can share it if you would like, or just watch it or not. I don't care, but
No,
just
we promote. You know me. I share everything. I'm the sharer. They be like, bro, you share everything. Yup. If it's positive, I'm sharing it. So you gonna get it shared on my stuff for sure.
awesome, awesome. If you could, I just want to do this for me. I want to see if I have the capacity to edit something to post specifically with you saying something about your fatherhood events. So I'm going to unpin myself and Queen. Okay, and I'm just gonna ask you like in like a sentence or two, just like invite whoever it is, the men or whatever to your events or whatever, just like something to capture their attention so I can potentially post this later. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. You ready for me? You ready for me?
Yep, go ahead.
Cool. Yo, what up, fellas? Listen. Um, we don't have to be Superman no more. You don't have to be Superman all the time. We got a space where you can be Clark Kent, and it's okay to be Clark Kent. All right. And so come out June 28th, Oakman 1129, and just come build with us, right? We got physical, we got mental health, and it's just a space where brothers just connect. Yo, and let me tell you something. We paying you to be there. Hey, come get some couple of dollars in your pocket too. That's 1129. The Men's Mental Health Fair is sponsored by Define Fatherhood, Hope Village. And we in this building together. So listen, you don't have to do life by yourself because you're not doing life by yourself. We waiting for you.
Yay, thank you. Thank you. And with that being said, let me go back to my gallery view so I can see everybody hugging themselves because that's what we're about to do. So, something we do to close out is we hug ourselves. So go ahead and hug yourself. Hug yourself. Love yourself. You need love. And then we hug the world. Ooh. Hug the world because the world needs it. Our brothers need it. The fathers, the sisters, everybody. We need it. All right. And then you're going to sprinkle goodness and love and care and compassion and strong fatherhood and strong black men energy.
Yay. Yay.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today and being a part of this conversation. I love y'all. And
You
we out.
too.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
Passion and purpose. Be
Yeah.
about it. Peace out.